The computer. Oh my gosh, I'm such a nerd. Let's see if I got any new comments. Aw, man.
Hello, I'm Annoying Black Boy, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the price of being single and why, if you're not in a relationship, life is just more expensive for you. And also, around this topic, we're going to be talking about childhood development and what romantic love means at different ages in a kid's life. Also, societal expectations when it comes to romantic relationships in young people. And at the very end, I'm going to talk about why I think society really wants us to get married. What inspired me to make this video is actually a couple of reasons. So, as of right now, as I'm recording this video, in a week it will be Valentine's Day, so I thought it'd be really cool to have a Valentine's Day themed video. And also, I love Valentine's Day. It is my second favorite holiday right after Halloween. And I just love, I'm a hopeless romantic. I just love the concept of love. I love love. I love, giving love, receiving love. I just love the whole idea of it. And also, I've never had a relationship. I never had a boyfriend. So the topic of being single really resonates with me, and I just thought it would be fun to kind of explore this topic. But before we get into all of that fun stuff, I like making video essays on anything to do regarding internet culture, pop culture, or just society as a whole. And I also like making movie and TV commentary videos, so if that appeals to you, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. With all that being said, let's get into the price of being single.
I defy you, Heartman!
In this section of the video, the research comes from Dr. Karen Bax, who is a clinical psychologist. And in this article, written by Kate Wynn, she discusses kids' understanding of romantic love at different ages: primary school, middle school, and high school. In kindergarten, kids are already forming this understanding of romantic love by seeing it from other adults and seeing it from their parents, if they are fortunate enough to live with both of their parents underneath the same roof. And it is typically, usually, a mom and a dad. They're also seeing and understanding this concept of romantic love by consuming media such as reading fairy tales and watching TV shows. And this makes perfect sense because when I was in the ages of primary school, intermediate school, and elementary school, I watched shows like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, That's So Raven, Hannah Montana, and Nick shows like Victorious and iCarly. And I was seeing all of these characters in high school, and I was thinking to myself, well, I cannot wait until I get into high school because I'll finally have a romantic relationship. But spoiler alert, that did not happen. Well, not technically a spoiler alert because I literally mentioned it earlier in the video, but you know what I mean. And kids are so funny around this age because if adults tease them about them having a boyfriend or a girlfriend, they'll kind of feel embarrassed by that because of the whole, and that makes sense because of the whole, oh, this boy has cooties things, this girl has cooties. And I don't know why we did that as kids. That was kind of cringy, but I don't think kids really do that anymore, at least from what I know. I don't hear about that. In middle school, that's when a lot of kids actually go through puberty, so sexual feelings might start to emerge, and that might lead some to sexual exploration and wanting to learn and discover more about their body and learning about their own sexuality. And around this time, this is when kids usually start to have the talk with their parents. And I remember before I went to middle school, when I was probably like 6 or 7, whenever this episode aired of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, there's this one episode where they kept talking about the birds and the bees, and I was just like, what the hell are they talking about? Because obviously I was not old enough to understand what that meant at the time. And finally, when kids are in high school, older adults might consider their relationship to be still at the stage of puppy love. But according to Dr. Bax, there is no automatic age where you can definitely fall in love. She states, "It's more about being compatible than it is about age and having the important components, the intimacy, mutual support, companionship, and wanting to be together. When it's more about care and commitment and less about status achievement, I think that's when love occurs." But a common concern that a lot of parents have for high school teenagers is having a misconception of what love actually is by consuming media such as TV shows and movies. Also, in this time, a lot of people that are single, they might see their friends and their classmates get into relationships, and them not being in one might make them feel like they're not getting the full high school experience. And I am definitely talking from personal experience. And really throughout your life, but especially when you're a young adult or you're an older kid, you start to understand, realize, and learn that society actually has quite a few expectations when it comes to you and romantic love. But as of September 2023, 46.4% of adults in the United States were single, which is about 117.6 million people. This includes people that are divorced, widowed, or have never married. And 35% of adults in America have never been in a committed romantic relationship. Societal expectations for love often include a belief in finding a single, committed partner, prioritizing monogamy, expressing love through traditional gestures, building a life together, eventually getting married and having kids, and maintaining a certain level of compatibility, with variations depending on cultural norms and individual values. Essentially, society expects romantic love to be a long-term, exclusive, and a dedicated relationship. Some key aspects to consider would be monogamy, a romantic relationship involving only one partner at a time, commitment, staying with one partner long-term and building a life together, emotional intimacy, sharing deep feelings, vulnerability, and support with your partner, physical attraction, being physically drawn to your partner. I would hope my partner would be physically drawn to me, shared values and goals, having similar beliefs and aspirations for the future, and last and certainly least, traditional gender roles. In some societies, expectations may include a partner taking on a specific role based on their gender, usually the man being the financial provider and the woman being the caregiver. And remember this information because it's going to be brought up later on in the video. As you can imagine, if we do not meet these expectations, issues may occur. And just to name a few examples, one would be pressure to conform. Feeling obligated to fit a specific mold may lead someone to feeling dissatisfied. Unrealistic expectations. How love is portrayed in the media may be difficult to maintain in real life. And of course, stigma around non-traditional relationships. Societal disapproval of queer relationships, age gaps, and polyamorous and open relationships. I think the reason to why society holds such beliefs is because most Americans are Christian. According to a 2023 Gallup survey, about 67% of people identified as Christian. And to put that into perspective, that is about 224 million people out of 232 million people, which is a lot of people. And of course, since a lot of Christians believe that being gay and queer is wrong and against their religion, they think it has no business being in society, which is very sad and tragic. Before we can even talk about the cost of being single, we first have to talk about why part of your identity might be a reason to why you're single. Factors like your age, your race, your sexual orientation, your geographic location, even your financial and your education status might be factors to why you do not have a significant other. According to data from The Knot, around 15% of couples report meeting their future spouse in college, making it one of the most common places to meet their potential partners. Adults with a high school diploma or less are more likely to be single than those with a bachelor degree. Adults who identify as gay, lesbian, or bisexual are more likely to be single than straight adults, which makes perfect sense because we live in such a heteronormative society and homophobia is so rampant it's actually insane. Queer person living in a red conservative state like myself, it may be harder to find a partner rather than living in a more liberal metropolitan city, obviously because it has a larger population. And cities like New York, San Diego, Austin, etc. are more accepting of people that don't fit the quote-unquote social norm. And let's face it, gay people, queer people, we are everywhere. But living in a more conservative state, obviously they have more traditional values, so coming out is a much more difficult process. Also, black people are more likely to be single. For this part of the video, I found this amazing article from The Dating Truth, who is a dating coach, written for the Medium, called Why Are Black Women Disproportionately Single? To summarize, in the article she talks about Hollywood's obsession with the trope of the single black woman, and she also talks about the disheartening statistics when it comes to black women dating and marrying. Disheartening because black women are having a difficult time with dating and marrying. But the actual reason to why black women are having such a difficult time with dating and marrying is because of the lack of quality of black men they are to date and marry, as most black women date inside their race. First, there are more black women than there are black men. Second, black women are more likely to go to prison than any other racial groups. And third, black men are more likely to lose their jobs, so they won't be able to provide for their potential wife and their potential kids and family. It was a very eye-opening article, and I suggest you read it. And obviously, the most expensive cost of being single is living by yourself. I'm obviously only referring to people that don't live with roommates or their friends or family or still live at their childhood home. I'm obviously not referring to those people. I'm referring to people that live by themselves. Around 27.6% of Americans live alone, so many Americans can't even afford to live by themselves because we're not even getting paid enough to live by ourselves to be able to afford that. The cost of being single refers to the financial burden of living alone, where a single person pays for all of their expenses like housing, food, utilities, streaming service, etc., without sharing the cost with a partner, often resulting in a significantly higher overall cost compared to living with someone else, sometimes referred to as a singles tax. And while doing research for this part of the video, I found this amazing article written by Anne Helen Peterson. She wrote it for Vox in 2021, and it's called The Escalating Cost of Being Single in America. She writes, "You can attribute some of these increases to no-fault divorce, which began to standardize in the 1970s, the continued aging of boomers who are growing old but not always together, and college-educated people, in particular, delaying marriage until later in life. Add in the sexual revolution, the feminist movement, the mass incarceration of black men, the inability for same-sex couples to marry one another in some states, safely cohabitate until relatively recently, and declining rates of religious observance, and you have a whole slew of intersecting reasons people are single or solo living at far greater rates than ever before." And according to a recent study, a person would need to make $96,000 a year to be able to live very comfortable by themselves. And even if you are single but you have roommates and you have friends and you go and hang out with them, usually friend groups, when they go to the mall or they go to the movies or wherever they're hanging out, the person pays for themselves. And when you have a significant other, sometimes you'll pay for them, they'll pay for you, so it's still a split in buying stuff. Like, even if you're living alone and you have a partner and you go out, sometimes they'll pay for your stuff. When you're single, you do not have that luxury. When you think about it, marriage seems to have a lot of benefits. You have a romantic partner, you have more financial stability rather than being alone, and you even might be offered a marriage bonus, which is when a household's overall tax bill decreases due to a couple marrying and filing together. But there was a time in American history when women and wives were seen as property to men. And the tradition of a dad walking his daughter down the aisle literally symbolizes a man handing over another man his property. That is insane. But why does our society make such a big deal out of marriage even when we know the history? Society often encourages marriage because it's seen as a stable foundation for raising children. It promotes social order. It creates a state of community and belonging for couples and their families. And marriage is considered beneficial to the well-being of you and society as a whole. At least that's what they claim. Some key factors to consider are social stability. Marriage keeps social order by establishing clear family units and promoting responsible family behavior. Child rearing. Marriage provides a stable environment for raising children with two committed parents, considered ideal for child development. Economic benefits. Marriage can provide financial stability through shared resources and legal protection for partners. Emotional support. Marriage can offer companionship and emotional support for individuals, mitigating feelings of loneliness. Cultural norms. In many cultures, marriage is deeply ingrained as a societal expectation and a marker for adulthood. And call me crazy, but I really think the real reason to why society wants to push marriage on us, especially women, is because they do not want women to be sexually liberated. And see how this kind of ties back to the feminist movement and the sexual revolution from the 60s and 70s? I say women especially because nobody cares, no one bats an eye when a man sleeps around. In fact, he is celebrated for being a player and sleeping around. But when a woman does it, she is slut-shamed. But as long as you're being safe and you're being consensual, who cares? Like, who cares what someone else is doing? And I think American society has these beliefs and values with marriage because, again, the majority of the country identifies as Christian, like I said earlier in the video. And when doing research for this part of the video, I came across this rather interesting article from acpeds.org, which stands for American College Pediatricians. And they talk about how marriage benefits society. And here are a list of reasons to why they believe so. And all of this information I'm about to read, it comes from the site. So keep that in mind when I'm reading all of this, okay? According to acpeds.org, marriage is both public and private because it's legally binding. Marriage maintains a cultural set of boundaries. This helps create moral and acceptable behavior through society's expectations. For instance, infidelity and adultery are considered unacceptable in society, and out-of-wedlock sex is discouraged by a variety of groups based on religion and certain morals. These norms do more than restrict adults from straying out of line. They add to a protection to help children be raised in a supportive environment. Children develop best when they have a secure attachment with a father and a mother who are faithful to each other. And children who are born out of wedlock admittedly are at greater risk for many of the difficulties associated with fatherlessness, poverty, and family stress. And this is the part I was waiting for and why I believe this is why society really wants us to get married. Marriage has long been a provision for controlling and civilizing sex. It provides a format for sex that would benefit children by keeping their biological parents together, while offering the commitment of a lifelong sexual partner. In this way, sexually transmitted diseases are minimized, sexual satisfaction is increased, and emotional health is protected. I think society wants us to get married, especially women, because, like I keep saying, America is very Christian. So they're against premarital sex, and I think it's a way of wanting to control women in a loophole sort of way, because remember when I said that there was a time in American history when women and wives were seen as property of men? So now it is time for my final thoughts. Basically, when doing research for this video and just being so interested in this topic, I kind of learned about what I already knew about society, and that is, if you are not a straight white man, then you are basically screwed. No, but for real, I had so much fun making this video, but the fact that so many people are facing struggles because of dating due to literal racism, homophobia, and misogyny, it's like not surprising, but at the same time very eye-opening when doing research for this topic. And unless I get the hell out of my conservative ass state, I may never find a man, but who knows, maybe this year will be my year. I highly doubt that because I do not go anywhere, But yeah. But anyway, if you are single and you're spending Valentine's Day alone, I recommend you stay home and watch Challengers. It's a really fun movie. There is some romance in it, and yeah, I recommend doing that. Do that. That sounds like a very fun thing to do on Valentine's Day. And also go out and buy yourself some candy. Yeah. But honestly, I had so much fun making this video, and you guys, now it's your turn. It's now your turn. Please tell me your thoughts, your opinions about this video topic. Are you single? Are you not single? How has being single made your life more expensive or more of a living hell? I would just really love to know your thoughts and opinions about this topic because I find it very interesting. And like I said earlier, I just wanted to have a very special video for Valentine's Day because it is my second favorite holiday. And yeah, I think that's it. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe if you like the video. And I forgot to say this earlier in the video, but make sure you turn on the bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And also, if you want, you can follow me on Instagram. I sometimes post on my stories. I'm at Fuglycore, and you can also follow me on Letterboxd. I'm going to try to watch more movies because I do love watching movies, but I need to get back into that. But yeah, with all that said and done, I'll see you in the next video, okay? Bye! Thank you so much for watching. Mwah! Aww.